Alright, well, we have made it to Crucial Performance to get tuned for E85. I almost ran out of gas on the way here, so I had to put like 2 more gallons of 93 in it, but I got a bunch of cool cars in here in the shop. I really like this CTS-V. It's pretty cool. Bunch of Hellcats. Pretty dope Camaro over there. Grand National. Well, I've already messed up and forgot to bring my boost control solenoid, so they're gonna have to use a stock one again. But he's gonna load the car on the dyno, do a couple pulls with 93 octane, and then we're gonna switch over to E85 and see what it makes. I think that's my E85 right there.
Popping pillies, man, I feel just like a rock star. All my brothers got that gas and they always be smoking like a rock star. Fucking with me, call up on no Uzi and show up, man, them the shot toss. When my homies pull up on your block, they make that thing go grata-ta-ta. Cocaine on the table, liquor pouring, don't give a damn. Don't your girlfriend is so cool, she just tryna get.
Alright, the car's on there now and he's installing the flex fuel sensor, so hopefully we'll be able to do a couple runs in 93 and then switch it over to E85. Alright, flex fuel sensor is hooked up and it's actually working this time, because last time I brought it here, the flex fuel sensor that they sent me was defective and didn't work, so that's why we had to come back today to do the E85, but should be good to go. So we've done a couple pulls on 93 still. He's still like dialing in the tune, I guess. Not sure really what all he's looking at and checking for, but he's dialing in the 93 tune. So we've done about 3 runs so far in it. Still seems to be making about the same as what it made before, which was about 330. And then once he's done with this, we can empty out the 93 in the tank and put in some E85. Well, we're still on 93 and he's fighting with the stock boost control solenoid. Instead of trying to fight with it, he's just going to install a manual boost controller on it so that we can at least set the boost where we want it at, and then he can tune it on 93 and then we can go ahead and switch over to E85. And then later on, because I do have I bought a Cobb boost control solenoid, but I just forgot to bring it. So later on when I get home, I can put that on there myself, take the manual boost controller off, and then I can get some cables from him and then he can tune it remotely, hopefully.
You've been out all night, I don't know where you've been. You're slurring all your words, not making any sense, but I don't fucking care at all.
Alright, manual boost controller's on, now he's gonna try it out, I guess. Alright, we're done with 93 and he's getting ready to put some E85 in it. Alright, so we did like 2 runs on E85 and the car made 355 horsepower and about 390 foot-pounds of torque, and my clutch started slipping. It's 390, that's quite a bit of torque, but I got a stage 3 competition clutch in it. It shouldn't be slipping like that, so I don't know what the deal is with that. We're gonna let it cool down for a little bit and see if it helps any at all. That's pretty good power though. The clutch ain't gonna hold it apparently. So we let it cool down for a little bit, and I think he's gonna go give it another shot. Like it held up that time. 360, 345. So our final numbers are around 360 horsepower. We had to turn it down a lot because the clutch was slipping, so I guess I'm gonna have to get a new clutch in the future after I just bought one, but whatever.
New Speedway app today.
First fill up on the E85.
Love to use my Speedy Rewards card.
Alright guys, so we're back from the dyno, and as you noticed in the video, my clutch did slip while we were tuning it for E85. So basically he didn't even get to tune it really at all. He loaded the base map onto the car, did one pull on it, adjusted a few things. The next pull after that, it made 390 foot-pounds of torque, which is a lot of torque for a stock block Evo with a stock turbo and everything. And apparently it was too much for the stage 3 clutch, which I would have thought would hold a lot more than that. At least it should. If you guys don't know, I had a stage 3 clutch installed at Crucial Performance because I knew that the stock clutch wouldn't hold up to E85, so I figured a stage 3 clutch should do the job. So it sucks that we couldn't really do much with it. It barely made more than what it made on 93, just because he had to actually tune it to make less power so the clutch wouldn't slip as bad. But yeah, so once we get this clutch thing figured out, we can either go back to Crucial, have it retuned, or I can get Tactrix cables, I think is what they're called. Hook it up to my OBD2 port and then plug it into a laptop. I can download the software is free, and then I can data log from there, and he can send me tunes and I can load it onto the car that way. That way I don't have to drive 3 hours to Columbus. I'm talking to Competition Clutch right now trying to figure out what the deal is. Seems like they're wanting to help me out, but they want me to take the clutch out of the car and send it to them so they can inspect it, but I can't really do that because right now I daily drive the car and I can't really take the clutch out and have it sitting here for however long that takes until I get a new one. Or if I take the clutch out, send it to them, and they decide they're not going to send me a new one, then what do I do there? Then I have to buy a new clutch and install it. So I don't know, I'm going to see what they say. I don't think it's really anybody's fault. I don't think it's Competition Clutch's fault, and I definitely don't think it's Crucial's fault. We were pretty hard on the clutch because I had it installed and immediately put it on the dyno and started tuning it for 93. And then after that, I drove it for about a week, and then I drove it 6 hours to Pennsylvania, ran it on the drag strip, and then drove it 6.5 hours home. So I have been pretty rough on it, so maybe that's why it's slipping. I don't know. I didn't really break it in that well. Kind of sucks, but we'll see what happens. If I have to buy a new clutch, then I have to buy a new clutch. For you guys that like my dad's Mustang, he put a Chevy badge on the front of it. It's probably gonna piss somebody off, but it does have a Chevy engine in it. This is a 350 that's been bored out to a 383. And it makes like about 600 horsepower. You can see it's tubbed out. It's got these big fat tires on it. I think it's like 15 inches wide. It's got nitrous. Pretty dope car. Just to update for you guys, I know a lot of people like hearing about this car and whatnot, but hopefully we'll get to see it on the drag strip soon. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you did like it, I'd appreciate the fuck out of you if you leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.